She saw a clown. It was 1989, I believe at around 9:30 to 10 p.m., and everyone in the house was already settled in except for my two oldest sisters, 13 and 14. They were getting ready for bed and were the bathroom, which had a connecting door to the basement near the toilet. My oldest sister was actually using the restroom while the other was brushing her hair. Well, as she was doing that, she heard a strange noise coming from the basement. See, she was the one that actually told me the story. I was too young to remember anything. She asked my sister if she heard the noise and she said yes. So then she walks over to the basement door and opens it slowly. She peeked her head around the corner to see the most shocking thing that she has ever seen. She told me she saw this person, or demon, crawling up the stairs like how a baby would, dressed in this clown suit, holding what looked like a knife in his hand. She told me it was like a dwarf because it was smaller than a midget. She gasped and could not move. When she did that, it looked up at her with this freaky grin, then put the knife in its mouth and started up the steps, more quickly stumbling and catching its toes on each step because of how short it was. She could still not move, but was making a hesitant sound that scared my oldest sister, that then grabbed her arm but could not move her, as if she was transfixed on the demon by a force. Just about near the top, she let out a scream. She then told me that the thing stopped, stood up on the steps to then laugh at her, sounding like a child. Then he fell backwards, falling on the steps with dead weight, looking like a person with no control of their limbs. She was then pulled into the bathroom with the door shutting hard. My dad heard the scream and came to the bathroom. They told them what happened, and he went downstairs to find out what they saw. He could not find anything that resembled what they told him. The Ugly and Laughing Clown. This took place in the late 1950s. The basement of my aunt and uncle's house was where they lived until they built a house onto the top of the basement. It was large but had very little lighting in it, which most of the bulbs to the lighting in the ceiling were taken out, and only 3 worked, one by the steps, the bathroom, and the largest room. The lights were turned on by pull strings. As children were too short to be able to pull the string to turn on the light, the basement had many small windows around it, but none of them open. The daytime playing in the basement, one could see okay, with the many windows around it. At nighttime was very dark. My younger sister and I had to spend all of our summers when out of school at my aunt's house. My cousin Maxie, not her real name, had a nice big bedroom. In it was lots of stuffed animals and these ugly clowns. I would often beg her to put them away while my sister and I was staying in her room to sleep at night. She would tell me I was a crybaby just wanting to go home before I was supposed to. No matter how much I would ask my mom why we had to be there every summer, I never did get an answer to any of those questions. One night shortly after my sister and I were there at my aunt's house, my sister woke up and had to go to the bathroom. We had to get up and walk past the shelf where the clowns were, down many steps into the dark basement where the bathroom was. I held on to my sister's hand as we went down the stairs, only a light to show us down the steps. We had to cross over to the other side of the basement, in the dark. We made it to the bathroom, but while in the bathroom, we could hear laughing. My sister is hanging onto my hand really tight. I'm trying to be brave. I left the light on in the bathroom as it showed us to the steps. Instead of walking to total darkness, we climbed all the steps and ran back to our cousin's bedroom. On her shelf, where the clowns were, one was looking right at us and laughing. We got into bed and covered our heads. My cousin Maxie woke up and wondered why. The bedroom light was on. We told her that the ugly clown was looking at us and was laughing. She got up and went to that ugly clown, took it off the shelf and threw it onto my sister and I, making us scream so loudly our aunt came into the room to see what was the matter. We told her of the laughing ugly clown. So our aunt took the clown out of the room, turned off the light. I'm looking at that shelf in the semi-darkness and I can hear that clown laughing again. I just covered my head up and got close to my sleeping little sister. Some days went by and nothing happened. Maxie and my sister and I went to the base room to play one rainy day. I said, "Did you hear that?" Maxie tells me she heard nothing. I said, "It's that ugly clown laughing again." She told me I was lying. I asked her what her mom did with the clown. Maxie said she didn't know. She said she had heard those clowns laughing again in her room for years, and she never seen or heard them laugh after the fact. A while later, we were playing outside. Maxie, my sister, and I went to go around the corner of the house. When I stopped abruptly, I came face to face with that clown. My scream was heard across the street. The lady from across the street came over, and so did our aunt from inside the house. Maxie ran into the house. I told my aunt and the lady across the street about the ugly laughing clown. They made me think I was hearing and seeing things, and all would be fine. Sometime later, I was in the basement going to the bathroom with my little sister. We had the door closed to the bathroom. We could hear Maxie screaming and banging on the door to get in. We let her in and the lights went out. I could hear Maxie scream, my little sister crying for mama, and the laughing of the clown. It got nearer and nearer to us. It drowned out the crying and the screaming in the bathroom. My uncle came into the basement to see what was going on. He turned on the light by the stairs. His daughter flung herself into her daddy's arms, still screaming. Then one said, I was going to come down here and scare the crybabies. When I got down here near them, I seen the clown off my shelf looking mean and laughing. Our uncle took us all upstairs to the room. See, he said the clown is still there, pointing towards a closet in his bedroom. We all looked and didn't see any clown in there. We went to Maxie's room, and there sat that ugly, laughing clown. Our uncle asked his wife if she put it back in the Maxie's room. She had not, yet it was still there. My aunt took all the clowns off the shelf and burnt them, told us we were have no more problems with them again. My sister and I went home. We told our mom we were not going back to that house again. Something was wrong in that house. We never did have to go back again. I saw Maxie about 3 years ago at a wedding. I asked, "Do you remember those clowns you used to have when you were young?" Her face turned white. She dropped her glass, which held her drink in it, onto the floor. She told me she never to mention about those clowns or any clown to her again. I learned from Maxie's sister that Maxie's room was closed up and locked. That Maxie and her shared a bedroom. When they moved from that house, Maxie's stuff that was in the room stayed with the house, still with a lock on the door. I am now in my 50s, and to this day, still afraid of clowns. The Ghost. The following story contains an experience that one of my closest friends had back in America. My friend's name is Michelle. She used to live in Kansas with her parents and her 5-year-old brother. They had a very big house in a nice but quiet, detached neighborhood. Nothing wrong had ever taken place in that particular area, until one day when Michelle and her parents decided to go out for a dinner. Because it was very late at night, her parents decided to have a babysitter take care of Michelle's younger brother, Nicholas. While the three of them were having quite a nice time at the restaurant, her father's cell phone rings. As Michelle had told me, the person calling her father was the babysitter. She was asking him, using a tremulous tone in her voice, whether she should cover the clown sculpture in Nicholas's room or just remove it outside because she claimed that it was scaring the boy. Michelle's father was too shocked, replying to the woman that they did not have any clown sculpture in their house. After a strong confrontation between the babysitter and the father, Michelle and her parents decided to return back home, scared and shocked by that conversation. When they came back, they found both the babysitter and Nicholas outside in the garden. When Michelle's parents demanded to know what had happened, the little boy started crying while the woman was too scared to answer. Michelle and her parents entered the house and went upstairs to the boy's room, in which the babysitter had claimed to have found a clown sculpture, but nothing was there. Even though my friend claims that both of them, her brother and that woman, were scared to death like they had seen something. A few days later, Michelle's family decided to let the neighbors know about that incident. Imagine how stunned they were when one of the neighbors, named Mr. Samuel, verified that something similar had happened to his family as well. According to his sayings, there were nights when he would feel like someone else was in his family's house. He had also mentioned a particular incident concerning his own daughter, who had claimed many times that there was a stranger in her bedroom during nighttime. She had also claimed that the stranger looked like a scary, smiling clown.